Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and it's time I look at the Child's Play remake released in 2019. Now, here's the thing. I have complicated feelings towards this movie and how it was made, and it wouldn't be sincere of me if I didn't address them in this video. So just buddy bear with me for a few minutes, alright? We'll be counting the kills soon enough. When I started Dead Meat back in 2017, every major franchise that I was planning to cover had some kind of remake or reboot. Jason, Michael, Freddy, Leatherface, the little shit Leprechaun, all of them had their timelines discontinued and restarted. Hell, even Ghostface kinda had a splintering with that MTV series. But not Chucky. Over the course of nearly 3 decades, Chucky's story continued uninterrupted through various highs and lows in quality and constant experimentation with tone and style. Guiding this continuity was Don Mancini and producer David Kirshner. Mancini wrote or co-wrote every single installment of the franchise, and eventually took over directing duties for himself. Sure, his first directorial effort, Seed of Chucky, is widely regarded as the worst of the series, but Mancini never faltered in his devotion to the franchise, and he brought it back very strongly in my opinion, with the more mature and gothic, and sadly straight-to-video, Curse and Cult of Chucky. I know that some people think Mancini ruined the series with stuff like Seed, but there wouldn't be a Chucky series without him. Yes, the original screenplay was polished and rewritten by John Lafia and the film's director Tom Holland. No, not that Tom Holland. And Holland, who had a sort of falling out with Mancini and Kirshner, gave this remake the thumbs up while it was being made. But Holland's involvement, and the involvement of distributor MGM, ended after the first movie. It was Mancini and Kirshner who kept the killer doll going, and I would argue that without all the sequels, Chucky wouldn't be the cultural icon he is today. You don't wind up in Ready Player One just because of a single successful film, unless, you know, you're The Shining. Although Universal helped make most of the Chucky sequels, MGM retained the rights to the original film, which is why they were legally allowed to create this remake. But to me, they're just cashing in on the iconic image of Chucky that was cultivated by Mancini all these years. Feels kinda like a cash grab. And note that this criticism is directed towards the studio MGM, not the cast and crew, who obviously cared about the movie they were making and who did a solid job. But whereas MGM has been hands-off since 1988, the Chucky series has always been Don Mancini's baby. Besides his work on Hannibal and Channel Zero, his entire creative career has been centered on the killer doll, and his passion and loyalty to the series is reflected in how many people behind and in front of the camera have stuck with him the whole way through. Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly are friggin' Oscar-nominated actors, but they love Mancini and the Chucky series so much, they've never left its side. And it's worth noting, have both been vocally against the remake being made. And I know, a remake doesn't erase the originals and they'll always be there to watch. But Cult of Chucky ended on a cliffhanger, and Mancini and everyone else involved wants to continue that story, the same story that's been going for 30 years now, in a Child's Play TV series they're developing for Sci-Fi. And I do think the existence of a different parallel Chucky might confuse or deter people from watching Mancini's show. It just bothers me that even though Mancini didn't want this movie to be made, the studio went ahead and did it anyway just because they legally owned the rights. It's not like Chucky was a dormant series like all the other horror franchises that got rebooted, and the latest movies weren't like the later Hellraiser or Children of the Corn sequels, where something lazy was churned out just to retain the rights. Even if you don't like what Cult did, you can't deny that Mancini was definitely trying to do something with it. It's important to point out that this remake's director, Lars Klevberg, and seemingly everyone else involved with the film have never said anything negative towards Mancini. In fact, Mancini was even offered an executive producer credit on this movie, but since it wouldn't include any creative input, and since he was still working on his own Chucky series, he turned it down.
It was hard not to feel like I was being patronized.
Yeah. They weren't asking for your creative involvement.
Yeah,
they
just wanted our imprimatur of, approval, which I strenuously deny them.
I really wish MGM had just made a different movie. This remake has enough changes from the original that it could function as its own separate thing.
We really wanted to have something new to bring to it, something relevant to today's audiences.
They definitely did that, with their movie addressing a fear of technology and surveillance gone wrong. That's great, but why did it have to be a Child's Play movie? Literally the only reason is money. Without that title and the look of the Chucky doll that Mancini helped Kevin Yeager design, the film wouldn't have made nearly as much money. God forbid. Throughout the original Chucky series, Don Mancini tried new things. Sometimes they were good, sometimes they were awful, but sometimes they were great. I fucking love how much he experimented, even when I didn't like the outcome. And I can't stand it when I hear people say that they're glad a new Chucky is being made despite his opposition because they didn't like what he did with the series. Chucky is his creation. Just because we're fans doesn't mean we're entitled to have Chucky movies made the way we want them to be made. We didn't create that little bastard killer doll, Don Mancini did. And for 30 years, he's been loyal to the character and all the cast and crew who have helped him along the way. I know MGM is within their legal rights to make this remake, but its creation reflects a different value system than I'd prefer to see in the world. One that doesn't respect an artist who's always stayed devoted to, experimental with, and passionate towards their life's work. I just wish we cared about that a little more. That's about all I have to say about this. Sorry it took so long, but again, I wouldn't feel right not addressing it. And with that out of the way, I promise to cover this remake on its own merits and treat it like any other movie on the kill count. If you really want to know, I'd personally rank it below Cult and Curse, but above Bride, Seed, and 3. And it's okay if you disagree with that. People have different opinions, alright? With that, I'm done talking about the original series. The Child's Play remake reimagines Chucky as a home AI system, basically an Alexa in physical form. He's no longer a good guy doll, but instead a buddy doll. And although he still wants to be friends to the end, he's also down to help you with work, both home and yard. Andy Barkley has been aged up, now more in line with the adolescence of Stranger Things and It, while Karen Barkley has been ever so slightly aged down, and is now played by Aubrey Plaza, which, when I realized her age actually made sense for this role, well boy did I feel old. Rounding out the human cast is Brian Tyree Henry as Detective Mike Norris, and all three of these actors do a great job being funny and relatable. Their performances are definitely a highlight. In fact, I think their acting, and Bear McCreary's awesome score, actually masks some of the weaker points of the movie, which can sometimes feel like it has more style than substance. I think it's too hip by half, with a few too many sitcom-like scenes and side characters, and as I examined it more closely with repeat viewings, I noticed a lot of character and story decisions that simply don't make a lot of sense. Kind of feels like the screenplay was forcing certain things to happen just to hit some predetermined story beats. But I can understand people enjoying this movie. Not only is it well-paced and stays entertaining the whole way through, it's got Mark frickin' Hamill as the new voice of Chucky.
Hi, are you my best buddy?
There aren't too many people who could rival Brad Dourif's voice work for the character, but I've gotta say that Hamill's performance feels pretty pitch perfect. Although, sorry, note from editor Zoran here, he insists that I mention that Hamill's voice for Chucky is the same as a, Brigsby Bear, whatever the fuck that is.
Remember, prophecy is meaningless. Trust only your familial unit. And please, discard leftover food rations in the yellow bin, not the red one.
Brigsby, Chucky, Luke, I don't give a damn about his name, I care about his kills, so let's get to him. The movie begins with an all-seeing corporate logo and a picture-perfect businessman. This is Henry Caslin Corps chairman, and he's damn glad to meet you. He's here to introduce their all-new home AI system, the Buddy Doll.
Hey buddy, let's watch some TV.
I'm not your buddy, guy. This nightmare-looking smart doll can wave his weird little ET finger around and be the master of your domain, even raising your goddamn kids for you.
Don't forget your science book.
And he can start as soon as you pop that baby out, because like a Twilight werewolf, this mofo imprints on people, a process that comes with the free song.
You are my buddy.
Of course, this mass-manufactured BFF is made overseas, where sometimes Caslin employees get abused, humiliated, and fired. Before this particular ex-factory worker leaves, though, he's gonna take some sweaty vengeance and disable all the safety protocols on a Buddy Doll computer chip, cause those would definitely have an easy to change on-off setting. After packing up the dangerous Buddy doll, the worker kills himself with a jump from the top of the factory onto a car. Oh shit, that's the same way Aunt Maggie died in the first movie. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be mentioning those. Some awesome damn music plays, courtesy of composer Bear McCreary. And that leads us into our title card. Oh, that's an evil looking red. Karen Barkley has just moved into a new Chicago apartment building, which has a Jack Black looking maintenance man, with her snarky 13-year-old son, Andy.
Whoa, you look like shit. What happened to you?
Thanks. And watch your language.
They've actually got a cute relationship, and you can tell they really love each other, even though Karen would prefer Andy get off his phone every once in a while. She'd rather he go make friends with stranger kids standing out in the rain. What the heck, Mom? That's so weird. Andy's not having a good time with this move, or with the fact that his mom's been getting her grind on with a douchebag named Shane. Ugh, Shane. I bet he thinks he's the best in the world. To avoid Shane, Andy posts up in the hallway on his phone, which is where he meets Detective Mike Norris while he's visiting his mom Doreen, who lives down the hall from the Barkleys. Norris is a real cool dude and quickly develops a playful rapport with the lonesome young Andy.
So what are you, some kind of fourth floor hallway hobo or something like that?
It's good that Andy has a friend now, since Karen's always working at Zedmart, where zombies are sold. At the ZM, she's constantly dealing with buddy doll bullshit, like this woman returning one whose eyes keep turning red. Evil eyes, eh? Guess no one would really miss it if Karen took it home for herself, huh? Yoink! She gives it to Andy as an early birthday gift, but his reaction isn't exactly to her liking.
Is that a sigh?
Yeah, it turns out he's no longer a buddy bro.
Just, this thing is for like little kids now. It came out like a year ago.
Okay.
But she convinces him to give it a shot with the caveat that it was refurbished, aka defective and or evil. Andy plugs in the buddy doll, who gets straight to making introductions.
What's your name?
Andy, sup?
Hi, Andy Sup.
And what's the doll's name, Andy?
Han Solo.
Did you say Chucky?
What? No, not even close.
Get it? Han Solo? Star Wars? Mark Hamill? The doll is all sorts of busted ass, but Andy promises his mom that he likes it and takes Chucky into his room. I think the doll looks pretty good here, and in fact, I didn't even realize that this was CG when I watched it. Twitter user The Scream King had to send me this video of how Andy's actor Gabriel Bateman is just acting with an arm here. Good looking stuff. And they did, of course, use animatronics as well. Jason Ward made the doll to production's design specifications, covering the animatronic innards with a plastic exoskeleton and foam latex skin. There were at least 9 different Chucky dolls used for various purposes, like having one just for stunts, and it took 3 or 4 puppeteers to operate him, each controlling different things like body movement or facial expressions. Even though it's only night 1, Chucky and Andy warm up to each other enough for Chucky to do his weird little imprint song.
You are my buddy until the end. More than a buddy, you're my best friend.
Yo, did I just make friends with the Joker? Hell yeah you did, dude. You're sandwich pals and everything. But uh-oh, that creepy looking fucker might be learning the wrong lessons there. And you know what? He's dropping the ball with the whole school prep thing too.
This is not a book. None of these are books.
This fun and games segment is a lot of fun to watch. Again, thanks in large part to Bear McCreary's music. My favorite special feature on the Blu-ray, in fact, was a video of him performing the theme on all these fun toy-like instruments. I didn't know what automatones were before seeing this, but now I'm pretty much obsessed with them. And also, just gotta say, Mr. McCreary was a super nice guy when I talked to him at the Happy Death Day to You premiere. Fingers crossed for an interview one day. The Good Times montage leaves Chucky so imprinted on Andy that when he sees his best friend get scratched by their cat Mickey Rooney, he quickly turns violent against the poor little kitty. Andy scolds Chucky and tells him he's not allowed to hurt things or people, even if they're major douche nozzles like Shane.
Clean up this room.
You're not my dad, Shane! Andy's sitting in the hallway, dressed like Elliot to honor Chucky's ET finger, and training the doll to epically prank Shane when he meets 2 new characters who are coming in hot.
It doesn't really follow the rules.
It doesn't follow the rules. Like it has a choice?
Kinda.
Sorry, can I pop in here? So he just does whatever?
What? Did these actors stumble out of an SNL audition? What the hell's going on here? This is Fallon and Pug, new friends for Andy, who are unfortunately going to be around this whole damn movie. But hey, Beatrice Kitsos, who plays Fallon, was in season 2 of the criminally underwatched Exorcist series on Fox, so that's kinda cool. I'm happy that Andy has friends that are part of his age cohort now, but gotta admit, these characters are not my favorite.
Your sister's pretty hot.
Dude, that's my mom.
Even hotter.
Like, this Pug motherfucker is sitting there with binoculars as they use Chucky to steal snacks from the vending machine. How are we about to have a character less realistic than the talking doll? I'd rather this movie's humor come from kids trying to make Chucky say funny things.
Now say this is for Tupac.
One night the kids are watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but it must be some kind of scrambled cut I've never heard of, because that shit's way the fuck out of order. Trust me, I can tell, especially since they use so damn much of it. Chucky sees them all laughing their balls off at Chop Top, which inspires him to mimic Bill Moseley and come at them all with a knife. When Andy tackles the little bastard to the ground, he accidentally slices Andy's arm, and that's gonna be a big time out for you, mister. You stay here and think about what you did. That leaves Chucky feeling bad, so he gets some payback via playback when he shares what Andy said in a secretly recorded voice message to Shane.
Shane's such an asshole.
Karen takes the doll away from Andy and locks him in a little cupboard, but that's not enough to contain Chucky, who breaks free and murders Mickey Rooney the cat. Lucy, don't look! Andy disposes the evidence down the garbage chute, but if he was hoping to just forget about it and move on, I've got some bad news for him, because Chucky's gonna make sure Mickey Rooney is always right there with him. Man, that is messed up. You fucky, Chucky. He continues to mess with Andy's life when he scares the piss out of and all over Shane, causing the angry mother lover to get all up in Andy's face with his beer breath. I know Shane sucks more than Super Freddy, Andy, but you gotta be careful with what you say.
I just want him gone. I just wish he would leave us alone.
You have a very impressionable evil doll in the house. Shane leaves Karen after an argument and returns home to his family. What? Yo, Shane's been Don Draper-ing us this whole damn time. He gets up to some dad duties that night and starts taking down the Christmas lights when his ladder is knocked out from beneath him, sending him crashing and straight up crunching his way to the ground. Timber! Hurt badly and needing help, he sees his phone and starts to crawl towards it through a watermelon patch? What the fuck? Can you grow watermelons in Chicago in the winter? If you can, you probably need gardening equipment like this that Chucky starts up and sends to stalk down Shane. He uses it to trap Shane, and when he goes to stab him, it causes the tiller to mulch up the top of Shane's skull. Like, really grind it up nice and good there. Damn, it even scalps the guy and gives his garden gnome a toupee. Chucky finishes the kill with a bunch of stabbings and a tribute.
This is for Tupac.
Shit, Chucky must have loved Tupac, cause that body's not looking pretty in the daylight. At some point during that kill, Chucky found the time to deface Shane completely, since Andy finds it wrapped around a watermelon in his room the next morning.
Surprise! Now we can play again.
Although Chucky thinks he's done good, Andy locks him in his closet and asks his overexpressive friends for help. Instead of going to the police, they decide to wrap that head up like a present, and eventually, after a long series of hijinks spread across multiple scenes with various near misses, Andy's able to dispose of the evidence down the garbage chute once more. He retrieves a saddened Chucky from his closet prison and leads him into a room with a kick-ass Killer Clowns poster, where Chucky gets ambushed by Pug and Fallon. It was a trap, Chucky! A clever ploy to tear out your arc reactor. Aw, and the poor little buddy was singing his little buddy song as he shut down? That's bound to be hard on Andy. Can't just throw those feelings down the garbage chute, pal. Because of Andy's one-stop style of evidence disposal, that Jack Black janitor Gabe finds a jackpot in the trash, and he takes Chucky home with him so he can bring the doll back to life with some enhanced interrogation. It's here we find out that this gross bastard has somehow installed high-fidelity spy cams all over the apartment building, including in the Barclay bathroom. But before he can enjoy that illegal show, the newly reawakened Chucky shuts it down.
Aslan! System reboot!
Wait, what? You had those spy cams hooked up to your home network? Dog, you're just asking for jail time with that. Or at least some karmic justice, which looks like it's coming right up, since Chucky just disappeared and is now messing with his electronics. Oh, and slashing his leg. Oh, and stabbing him in the baby maker. Chucky actually tears into Gabe quite a bit, but it's not until the dude stupidly steps onto a buzzsaw table that we see where this death is going.
Table saw activated.
Wait, even the fucking table saw's on the Wi-Fi? What kind of dumb smart future is this? Apparently one that doesn't have any safety limits on its thermostats, since Chucky's able to get the room nice and boiling. That causes Gabe to let go of the heating pipe he's holding onto and fall crotch first onto the table saw. And boy do I mean crotch first, with a leg on the side there too. Nice. You know, besides the cat, Chucky's not choosing his victims too poorly so far. And he gets a knock on his door from a random fucking kid there to tell him the latest neighborhood news. Sounds like a buddy doll was just left on the doorstep of another apartment building kid named Omar, the one who taught Chucky about Machiavelli. Omar's named his supposedly new buddy doll Chode, which is actually pretty great, but Andy has his doubts that Chode's on the up and up. Work continues to be hell for Karen, especially since the new Buddy 2 is about to come out, along with a brand new terrifying Buddy Bear and some all new Buddy accessories, like this little shit outfit. In the store, Chucky gives up the Chode game real fast when he plays some of Andy's home videos on the Zmart TVs. That leads to a fight between Andy and Omar that causes Omar's phone to fall out of his pants. During the fight, Andy also pushes Pug, unfortunately not out of the movie, and after the dust is settled, he grabs Omar's phone off the ground along with his hearing aid that fell out. Oh yeah, Andy's deaf and has to wear a hearing aid. I didn't bring it up before because honestly, haven't really needed to. But yeah, that's a thing. Andy uses Omar's phone to connect to Chode, where he sees his friends talking shit about him in the wake of his Zed store freakout.
He's not our friend. Not anymore.
I guess all the kids at Omar's place don't notice Chucky Chode walking away though, since Andy watches him grab a knife before his video feed cuts out. When it comes back, the doll is all of a sudden outside on the sidewalk, watching Norris's mom Doreen get picked up by a driverless Caslin car. Wait, how did Chucky get outside so fast? And why is he running around like that? I'm not sure, but at least Doreen continues to be great.
Oh my goodness! It's going backwards!
Doreen's taking this driverless car to bingo night, an automatic ride that goes great until it doesn't, and she finds herself in the parking lot staring down a plastic little Chode. Should I even bother asking how Chucky beat a car to this bingo place? He's mad at Doreen because earlier, in pervy Kung Fu Panda's basement, he overheard her on a camera feed saying that Andy was her new best friend. Well, nobody steals Chode's best friend, so he uses his glowing fingertip to send the Caslin car spiraling around the lot. He deactivates Doreen's airbags, unbuckles her seatbelt, and sends her into a collision with another vehicle. But that doesn't kill her on its own, so Chucky has to finish the job himself, right after a jump scare using the car's radio.
Doreen. I said peekaboo.
He kills her with a stab off screen, and her son Detective Mike, unfortunately, is the one who has to uncover the body at the crime scene. Back at home, Andy tries to tell his mom about Chucky, but instead of believing him, she yells at him for taking Omar's phone and goes to return the stolen device. While she's gone, Chucky hacks into the Barkley Wi-Fi and shows Andy that his friends were talking shit about him, which gets the kid so mad he has to batter up. And so when Karen comes back, she finds her son looking like he's trying to escape a poltergeist movie. To keep a closer eye on him, she takes him to Zmart, and while they're gone, a police presence at Doreen's door and footage of Doreen from Chucky Chode on Omar's Buddy app convinces Fallon that Andy was right about the killer doll. They look at the app again, and hey, what do you know? Chucky's now at Zmart, just in time for the release of the Buddy 2.0. That's good, Chucky. You wouldn't want to miss this dude in a Buddy doll suit. It's pretty great. Detective Mike Norris has been investigating all these crime scenes, and after being shown a picture of Shane's face with Andy's wrapping paper all around it, he concludes that Andy must be the one behind all the kills. So even though Andy's friends go to Zmart to help him avoid Chucky, they don't make it very far before Norris takes Andy to the ground and starts to cuff him. The Buddy 2.0 release countdown finishes and all hell breaks loose, which gives Chucky cover to stab that Superformer right in the neck. Oh shit! It's actually a darkly hilarious scene as the poor dude stumbles around with that big-ass buddy head on. And it gets even wilder when he sprays a bunch of blood into a little girl's face. Norris cuffs Andy to a display case or something right before the lights all go off so the Chucky show can begin.
Mom, where are you going?
Wait, yeah, where is she going? Why'd she just leave her son right there? Anyway, as everyone's distracted by Johnny Quest on TV, Chucky activates some drones and sends them into the crowd. He misses Norris, thanks to Karen, but the drone does hit Wes, that worker who had been stabbed in the neck, and the blades finally put an end to the poor guy. There's a whole bunch of chaos as people try to flee the store before Chucky can lock it down. But even though Detective Norris gets slashed in the chest, I only see a single confirmed kill. This employee lying on the ground dead. A few people get attacked by the new buddy bears brought to life, but I don't see any critical injuries being inflicted. And I'm hoping these grown-ass adults can survive an attack from a teddy bear. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Oh shit, but that guy? Yeah, that guy did. Chalk one up for the creepy-ass bears. Andy is saved from a bear attack by Fallon using a variety of tools. But as they go to leave the store, Chucky shows Andy a feed of Karen on the TV, and she's not looking too comfortable there. Maybe you should have stayed with your son when that public emergency broke out.
Mom, where are you going?
Where the fuck were you going, Mom? Andy decides to go save her, but only after locking his friends outside, determined to take care of that chode himself.
You wanna play? Let's play.
He goes to the back in the warehouse portion of the store and follows a Chodio-controlled car to Karen, who's all tied up for plot purposes. Where the fuck you go? Chucky starts talking directly into Andy's hearing aid, which, like, come on. Why would that be on the internet? Whatever, man. The doll taunts the kid and then knocks him the hell out. When Andy comes to, he finds Chucky dulling his knife against the ground and his mom tied to an ever-rising forklift. Chucky's full-on nutso now, threatening to cut Andy open so he can fix his inside. But before he can, Andy confuses the doll with a sweet serenade of friendship.
My body until the end.
He uses the opportunity to knock Chucky aside, then begins to climb some scaffolding to cut his mom down. He's just about succeeded when Chucky jumps out and Ready Player One's him off the edge. Andy manages to grab the rope and cut his mom free with the knife, sending them all down to the floor in a seriously rough landing. But Andy perseveres and climbs on top of Chucky so he can stab him in his stupid little doll chest. That's gotta be it for him then, right? Nah, this is Chucky we're talking about, so he's gonna have to be put down multiple times.
This is the end.
The actual end, friend, comes courtesy of Karen, who decapitates the doll with her mama bear hands. But this Chucky doesn't go on the kill count. He doesn't have a human soul. He's just AI made up of code. And like I said in the Banana Splits kill count, this is different from the androids in the Alien movies who had sophisticated human-like intelligence. Chucky was just a malfunctioning Alexa made of silicon. So get out of here, Chucky. Burn in hell. The movie ends with Andy hanging out with his friends on a billboard and a buddy doll being put on a shelf where it still has smiles for miles. How many people became permanently unplugged thanks to some rogue AI? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Ha! Man, this fucking thing has green in it. I'm sorry. By my count, 7 people died in the Child's Play remake, consisting of 6 men and only a single woman. Really thought there'd be more kills here. With a runtime of 90 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 12.86 minutes. Ooh. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Shane. I still don't know what a watermelon patch is doing in the middle of a Chicago suburb, but whatever. Dude got his scalp torn off. That's pretty cool. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to the random Zedmart employee seen dead on the ground. I kinda had to give it to him, you know? And that's it. The Child's Play remake came out in 2019 and did pretty well at the box office, so who knows, maybe we'll get another one. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like James Cheek, Brandon Chrisman, Uncle Marcus, Chevy McLean, Anthony Kemp, and Muhammad Abdallah. I hope all the things I said at the beginning made sense and were fair. Let me know what you think about the situation. I've had this smaller Chucky doll since I covered the series way back when, but now he's got a big brother. Thanks everyone. Be good people.